Okay. It's on. Hi. I've been getting a lot of comments like, I don't get it. And it has repeated itself so often that I thought, well, I'll do a special today with my friend Jerry here. Jerry, you win. Okay. I'm so happy to have him. So today, the title that I've given it, it just came to me actually, it's The Missing Link. Okay, why is it that so many people say to me, Burt, you know, I've heard all this, I know it, but I don't feel it, I still don't get it. Okay, so we'll go into that. You see, one of the things that I know about is that until you understand pure awareness and consciousness and see their difference, then you cannot see their wholeness. I know that this seems like a paradox here, but we have to understand the difference between pure awareness and consciousness. And it is only when we do that we start to know who we really are. The reason we find it so hard to see ourselves as pure awareness is because we always have to think about it. We have to figure it out. We have to put forth effort. And what we are talking about is really effortless. So it's not something you're going to achieve, it is something that you already are. What I'd like to do now, do the following. Just came to me an example. Okay, become very still for a moment and put your tongue on your upper palate against the upper teeth. And as you do so, feel the muscles of the tongue caressing the teeth, the upper teeth. At the same time, feel the smoothness of your teeth from the back. Feel the moisture of the tongue. But put your full attention, absolute full attention on the movement of the tongue. Okay, now you're doing that. Fine, okay? Continue on feeling all that action, everything that's going on, be that completely right now. Okay, now we've done it for a few seconds. What's happened? It doesn't seem to be much, right? But by looking into what was happening, by totally being aware of what is taking place in the moment, you stopped thinking. And if you are honest with yourself, you find that at the moment, in doing that, you found a little tranquility, a little peace. You feel a little bit more alive, a little clearer. Of course, this is just a very crude example, but just to give you an idea as we go exploring it, Jerry and I. Okay. Also, what I'd like to say about pure awareness is that pure awareness is not achievable. Pure awareness is not something that you're going to get. Okay? Pure awareness is what you are moment to moment, and especially when there is nothing in your mind and you're totally here, you can actually feel the beauty of that. Another thing too is that not only people try so hard to become enlightened. See, I get so many letters, people telling me, I want to be enlightened, Burt. I want to achieve what you talk about. And here is where I have to tell you, stop. Stop it. Because it's already you, it's already now. And you will find that in our seeking, in our striving, we become so insecure. And it's as if going in a circle. I remember seeing one time a picture called Ouroboros, a snake swallowing its own tail. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is what happens, is that our struggle to achieve what we already are becomes the very opposite. And we end up getting nowhere, okay? Because what we're trying to achieve is the nothingness. But the nothingness is not an emptiness. It is not a vacuum. It is simply that which created all that is. But as we go into it, maybe you start getting a glimpse. Now, before we start, maybe I could ask you to do the following. Remember when you were younger, you could have had moments when you experienced, that state. A woman wrote me recently and she said that, just as a matter of fact, I received it today. She said, Burt, I was walking in the park and it was very close to a waterfall. And he said, I loved the waterfall so much, it was a beautiful day. So I sat down just to listen to its sound. And I became so peaceful, so beautiful, but it was also sunny. So there were iridescent, lights, the waterfall was kind of sprinkling into little gems, little jewels type of thing, shining with the sun. And she said, at that moment, everything became clear. And I knew what I have been studying and striving for. At that moment, it became clear. Okay? So remember one thing, that what we are talking about is not something that you don't know. In fact, you know it very well. And all you need to do to live from it is to recognize that it is already present. Let me say this, and then I start sharing with Jerry, which I'm looking forward to. One more thing. And it is this, that it is always with us moment to moment. And when you stop striving, you begin to feel it by recognizing it. I was going to say something else. Yeah, we've all had an experience of it at one time or another. And we say, oh, I had such a feeling when things became very clear. But you will find that that feeling is always there if we stop struggling. And it is that feeling alone that gives you security. I've strived so hard all my life to feel secure, to be financially stable, to be healthier, not to grow older, etc., etc. And it's a beautiful thing, is that when you get to know who you are, there is a security that nothing in the world can give you. It is wonderful. It is beyond words. And then you'll find a security that you might ask, well, how is it going to solve my relationship problem? How is it going to resolve my financial problems? And you'll find that security itself will take care of everything. Okay, so is there anything you'd like to share?
Sure. I thought that we all have experienced that. That's the incredible thing, is that we actually know that place. Falling in love, looking at awe at a sunset, being lost in the magnificence of life. And then we come back and go, wow, I want to get that one again.
Yeah.
But you can't get it because it's always happening. It can't be gotten because that very thing separates you from it. Your grasping, which is the mind, makes you into two. But why you were in that moment of wholeness is because you weren't two. You were one with life. And there was an awareness of that life, not separate from you. It wasn't like life is in you, you are life. No. In that moment, it is just life and your awareness in it. It isn't even of anything in particular. When you touch your teeth with your tongue, there is a moment when you can get lost in the sensation.
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. Without thinking, just allow yourself to get lost in the moment, because in that loss you will find everything.
Yeah, it just occurred to me to do something that you can do. Let's say you're very active, you know, very, very busy, moving back and forth, and all of a sudden stop. Just stop and be aware of the activity of your mind that's propelling this action, and then see how the body is experiencing it. And the moment you go into the experience of the moment itself, you see, there is no mental activity, because you become the sensation itself in the moment.
That's it.
Yeah.
You become that. So instead of trying to get that, you actually become that which you seek. You are that, and it reveals itself to you without your grasping for it. It's like you relax and fall into it of what was always there.
Yes, you can define pure awareness. Another thing that came to me quite a few years ago, actually, and since then I have found a peace I can't describe. A security, really, inner security, because I live alone, and you know, but it's this that oh, I lost my point now. It is not something, it is a nothing, but that very nothing is with you all the time. It's not achievable, so all I need to do is recognize it as the moment itself. And when I start recognizing it itself, I call that pure feeling. And pure feeling is what it's all about, but pure feeling is really, you can say it's a euphoric feeling. Because when you start going into that feeling of non-thinking, just in the moment, you begin to feel good. And as you swim into it, as soon as you allow it, you find it's there all the time. You know, all you have to do is stop and be it. And it keeps on increasing in its momentum. And as it does, your life begins to flower in a way you never thought was possible. Answers come to you from nowhere.
So here's something that I learned from my own journey, and that is, if you're trying to escape something, if you're trying to get this, if you're trying to avoid or escape, it ain't gonna cut it. Because it doesn't matter what it's not about gathering all the good stuff and leaving out the bad stuff. There is no good and bad. It is all there, every moment. You have a headache, and be with that. Be in that moment with that. Don't try to find the relief and the way out, or you're in joy. Don't try to capture it. Just be with what is. And I don't know how to say without thinking, because that... Because if it's not about not thinking, there's nothing wrong with your thoughts.
Right.
Just be with what is, and
be
realize
with what is.
Your thoughts are not you. Your emotions are not you. But you don't have to rip anything away. They're all beautiful dance and story of life.
Because this is who you are, this moment itself. You know, it is not a temporary thing. It doesn't come and go. It is always there if we just stop and be.
And when you're hard on yourself of saying, oh, I've tried this so long, I'll never make it. Two thoughts come from me. One is, have compassion for yourself. See the sufferer. Love that beautiful sufferer. We all suffer. That's a human condition. Love that sufferer. And the other thing is, burst out laughing. it's actually quite a funny drama, this life thing,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
We take it so seriously. If I don't wake up, I'm gonna die. And it's a total paradox.
Yeah,
It's a joke.
It's a joke, yeah.
And if you can begin to get the joke of yourself in your grasping, in your pushing, and love yourself in that joke, that will lighten things up and allow that awareness to be there more naturally. Because when you're laughing your head off, those are the moments life and joy is moving through you for no apparent reason except that you're out of the way.
Yeah, because you're out of the way, right. Yes, yes. Yeah. So the struggle to achieve it, to seek it, to understand it. You see, when I used to hear somebody speak like we are doing now, you know, in my struggling days, I say, oh, how I wish I would get it, what they have. As if it's something to achieve. It is a no thing. Really. It is when all struggle stops, all effort stops, all seeking stops, and just be. You know? And then recognize it. That this pure feeling which you are, because it is, you see, consciousness comes from pure feeling. Pure feeling, like you're looking at a movie. And the movie is playing on the screen. The screen is planting the episode, the action that you're seeing. Well, the mind does the same thing. You see, the mind is like an empty screen. And the moment you look at that tree implants itself in your mind, and you think that that thought is the tree.
Yes.
You see, and we make it a reality. And so we begin to think that a thought is reality. But did you know that when you become aware of a thought, now I used to say before, become aware of a thought as a thought and then it's finished, but it's more than that. When you become aware of a thought, what happens? You see, there is no thought there. Please, see it. If right now you're thinking something, stop. Where is it? Be aware of it. And that moment that you're being aware of what you consider a thought, you find there's nothing there. You've become still. And in those moments of stillness, you see, these are those feelings of security, of peace, of goodness, of vitality, of aliveness. But that comes gradually as you begin to recognize the moment for what it is, really. That the moment you stop trying to figure it out, trying to understand it, trying to achieve it, and recognize it as the moment itself, and no matter what is happening, you begin to experience. Something happens in you that makes you stop and look at it. And then you see nothing. But what is left is that feeling, is that knowing. For example, if you ask anybody anywhere and says, how do you know you exist? And they say, of course I know. But what is it that knows? You see? Everybody knows because they're aware they exist. See, it is awareness. That is the ultimate. From awareness comes consciousness and everything else in the world we experience. But that is the primal thing. Awareness is nothing. Awareness is not a thing. But it is infinite and timeless. And it's the only security that you can ever find.
You know, all of us had a childhood. And often, children are so wrapped in what they are doing that they are just laughing, playing, that there is a joy. Mm-hmm. And that joy is in everyone, regardless of the circumstances of your life. And I know that's hard to believe.
Yes.
But the circumstances are the story. That joy, and if you really feel deeply, you know, you have a sense that the incredible joy is possible. It's because it's right there. It's it's right there waiting to burst out. It is your very nature is joy itself. Not the opposite of pain, but just an aliveness.
Yes.
That you don't have to identify with anything. That smell, if you can get a scent of that smell of what I just said, sink into that joy that is not only your birthright, it is who you are and who everyone is.
Yes.
The tree is not separate. The word tree tends to make it even more solid. This tree is a wondrous part of life, and when you were a child you may have run and hugged the tree, kissed the tree, rolled on the tree. You didn't need to know tree or not tree, or being with what is. You don't need to name it, you don't need to identify it. Just, you don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
Just be present with that, because being with is a joy unto itself. That is what releases that joy, is being.
And joy is always there, waiting to be released. And it is a knowing.
So whether you get this and you go like, aha, I got it, or what the heck are those guys talking about again? In some ways,
I'm laughing because I used to feel the same way.
in some ways it doesn't matter if you can get that scent, that sense that is behind all thoughts. I got it, I don't got it.
Right.
If you can let that scent, or I don't know, there's no word for it, but if you can let yourself sink into that deep knowing which is somewhere in you, that deep joy that can burst out into any circumstance, not because of the circumstance, but because it is always life itself.
Yes.
And that can't be understood, suppressed, gotten, sorry.
Yes.
It is beyond gotten. It has you. It is you. How are you going to get it, for God's sake?
Yeah. Take moments to be still and just be and experience the moment fully. And you'll recognize it. Many have already, but still quite a few keep saying, I don't get it, I don't feel it. See, these are the things themselves that are keeping you from being. I think we have
Pretty well covered it.
pretty well.
I always have, this is my prejudice, I always have the one of love yourself no matter whether you're getting it or not. Because
Yes.
it is such, it's a back doorway in.
Yes.
Because
That's beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Yes.
if you love
Yes.
yourself no matter
Yeah.
what, and have,
Because it is love, really.
because it is love.
It is love.
It,
This moment is love.
yeah.
And you allow it. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope that, and if you have any questions, please send them along, and maybe it will trigger something else for us to share for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.